Hi, and welcome. Today we're highlighting the ministry of authorized lay worship leaders, faithful individuals who have answered God's call to lead and serve in worship. These leaders play a vital role in supporting congregations and supporting God's Word. I'm excited to be speaking with Ken Hirth today. He's going to share his journey, how he felt called to this ministry, the ways he's been able to serve, and how this experience has helped shape his faith. So let's start from the beginning, your call story. What led you to become an authorized lay worship leader? How did you first sense God calling you into this ministry?
Well, I think it began when I was in high school because I went to Concordia College Seminary, which was a high school and 2 years of college. And of course, I got a lot of good religious preparation there, but I didn't go into ministry. I didn't become a pastor. I went into university, got a business degree, and then eventually went on and got graduate work in anthropology. But I was in Kentucky. We were living in Kentucky, and I was going to a Missouri Synod church there and was an elder in the church. And the
Oh,
pastor had to go to a conference. And so he asked me to preach on a Sunday, and I did that. And when he got back, he started to talk to me about the need in Kentucky. There were Lutheran churches, but
mm,
there were virtually no pastors, and the churches were very small. That's why I had to preach. There was no, lay minister to fill in for him. And so he kind of planted the seed then. It never came about uh, because then we moved up here to Pennsylvania. But entering and joining an ELCA church here, one of the associate pastors told me about what was then called, I believe, the DYD program. And so I went through that. I had had a lot of medical treatments and, was stage 4 cancer. You kind of reassess where you are in life.
wow.
I came out of that quite fine. And then because of that suggestion, I looked
Mm.
into it. And so then I felt that something that I wanted to do was to then go into to that program, get authorized, and then serve the small congregations, outlying Pennsylvania that, are shrinking. So that's what I did.
Wow, that's really interesting. So let's talk about your impact that you've had. How have you been able to bless and serve congregations through this work? Is there a particular moment that stands out when you truly felt God working through you?
Um, well, I think it's part of a long journey, uh, that really kind of began during my cancer treatments.
Mm,
Um, because once I got out of those, I was a chaplain at for about a year, once a week at a yeah, retirement community, and so that was fulfilling. Um, I mean, just the sense of serving the congregations in Pennsylvania is extremely rewarding. You get to know the people, and when you go back regularly,
mm,
uh, because that's usually how my connections work. They call me back individually as opposed to going through the office. They inform the office once they set up a date for me. I've been serving one congregation for 13 years.
wow.
So you really get to know the families and see the kids grow up. But then in my home congregation here in State College,
Mm,
I've had the advantage of being able to go on mission trips to Latin America, and I've worked in
wow.
Latin America all my life, have good conversational Spanish skills, and so being able to do that has been also a highly rewarding aspect of being part of the church community.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear that. Ministry is about giving, but it also transforms us. How has being faithful to this calling deepen your own faith, and what blessings have you experienced through serving in this role?
Well, it's kind of like Nike. You just do it, and then when you do it, preparing the sermon, preparing a message, for me is when you really learn it, and so I
Mm,
like to start a good week ahead of time, and not that you necessarily have to, but I like to do it that way because then I get to think about, what the gospel is, what the service, what the sermon message will be for a week. I can consult other people. We have a library here at church. I can use that if I need to
Hmm.
talk to pastors, so it's a great time of growth, to just be able to think about one small gospel message and then know that you're going to prepare a message around that. And so just being able to be in that situation where you got to creatively figure out a message for what is it going to mean to the congregation, you
Right.
first have to answer, what does it mean to me? And so that's what I find personally rewarding about the service. I
Okay.
think I get more out of it than I actually probably deliver. So there's that dimension of it that I think is, I enjoy. So I'm
Yeah.
already thinking about the sermon in 2 weeks. So
Okay. Yeah. And to sort of wrap things up a little bit, for someone who is maybe considering becoming a ALWL, or maybe someone who's just starting the journey, what wisdom or encouragement would you share with them?
I think, a couple of things, just tell your story. I mean, I think Lutherans have a belief that they need, 1,000 hours of Bible study. Well, you've already had that most likely.
Right.
And so less Bible study is probably needed than basically be an authorized worship leader. There's the old adage, you don't learn it until you have to teach it. And so, that's, I think, no fear. People, are just appreciative to have somebody there helping them worship, lead worship. And so just do it, tell your story, and that's, put it in words from your own life experience.
Wow. Ken, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's really inspiring to hear how God has used you in this role. And I hope your testimony will encourage others who may be feeling that same call. Again, I very much appreciate your time, and I pray that God continues to bless your ministry. Take care.
Okay.